Is everyone in the right headspace?
Getting there.
We'll find out.
And I am sorry about what this would just put you through. Hopefully, some of these other bad sequels are more.
It's
more of a joy.
It's within our control. We could just pick better movies.
Well, we can do that too, but we're trying to do an important job here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We watch it so others don't have to.
Yeah.
Continuing completed classics. Fulfilling failed franchises. Reinvigorating reviled rehashes. It's the follow-up Showdown with Paul Getz and Travis McMaster.
Hello and welcome to the follow-up Showdown, where we attempt to give worthy second chapters to stories that don't have them. I am Paul Getz, and with me as always is my co-host, Travis McMaster. How are you, Travis?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you doing?
Well enough. If this is the first time you're joining us, the way it works is this. We take a movie that either has no sequel or a sequel that is generally thought of as bad, and each take a turn proposing our own version of what would be a fitting continuation. With us on this journey, as per usual, is our chimer-inner / tiebreaker. Your title is getting more official as we go. Lauren Corney. Hello, Lauren.
Hello.
Yeah. And finally, I am thrilled to announce our first ever official guest. He is the host of the Bad Science movie podcast, an incredible talent, the sweetest of sweethearts, as well as a dear friend of mine, Ethan Edenburg. Ethan, what is up?
Nada mucho, Paul. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
He had a lot more fancier adjectives in front of his name than I did.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was a lot of credential listing.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel good coming in.
So this episode is a very special one for a multitude of reasons. The first being that today's movie is the first official sequel we will be trying to improve on, 2014's Dumb and Dumber 2. And Ethan, you are the perfect guest for this because I believe you, like me, think of 1994's original Dumb and Dumber as one of the funniest movies of all time. Is that?
Yeah, if not the funniest movie of all time.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved it. Seen it so many times. It was one of the only VHSs we would take in the van when we would go on vacations or like just long trips. And so we would watch Dumb and Dumber in the car, me and my 3 siblings. So I have it memorized.
That is how you know it's serious, when you can tolerate the van TV.
Yeah. Well, when everybody shuts up when it's on, it's like, man, this movie must be something special.
I also have the experience. My whole family loves it. It is a beloved one by the whole clan. My mom included.
I like your clan.
I think I just liked it a normal amount for
Okay.
like a little like funny kid in the early 90s who was like on that Jim Carrey train.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, but I liked the Mask and Ace Ventura more.
Okay, so this one didn't stand out to you as particularly, and still doesn't.
I think it's funny,
Okay,
but
all
it's not.
It's not the mask.
It's no the Mask.
It's not smoking baby.
Lauren, you just saw it recently. Is that correct?
I rewatched it recently. I grew up with it.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly how I remember it. Level of comedy and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would put that about comedy scale 0 to 10.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe a 5.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Not
pretty
good.
low.
that's
I
a
guess.
failing score.
Lower than I would have put it.
Yeah,
Wow.
5 or 6.
That is
Wow.
not good.
Now, I have actually wondered about this. I'm a little bit. My girlfriend Kim knows that it is my favorite comedy, and yet I have been scared to show it to her because
Never seen it?
Good instincts.
She saw it as a kid, doesn't really remember it,
Oh, wow.
and I'm wondering. My fear is that it is a boy movie
Whoa.
specifically
Yes.
because it is. I mean,
It's
it
called
is
Dumb and Dumber. That sounds like a boy movie.
It's like slapsticky.
Yeah, the title might be my least favorite part of it.
I don't mind the
It's
title.
not a great
but
title.
I'm a boy.
I really hope it's not a boy movie.
Well, does
Freak me
Aaliyah
out.
like it?
Probably not.
Okay.
Haven't talked. I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe she loves it. I
My
don't know.
mom loves it, so
Yeah,
there's one lady.
Yeah, definitely
Was
my mom
mine.
too, and my
Yeah.
sisters. Yeah.
All right. So before we get into talking about the first movie, Dumb and Dumber, I am going to give it to Travis.
Oh.
And since this is the first time we are redoing a sequel, what would normally be 1 minute with McMaster,
A minute with McMaster.
will be 2 Travis McMaster minutes.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes to break down the plot of Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2.
Wow.
Shit. Okay, 2 minutes each or 1 minute for
2 minutes for the full
For both.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
All right, I guess let me know when to start.
I will.
Oh, fuck.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
So Dumb and Dumber, Harry and Lloyd are very stupid best friends. Jim Carrey is the limo driver, and he drops off his daily fare, and she leaves her briefcase behind in the airport, and it's part of a ransom scam for her rich family, but Jim Carrey doesn't know that, and he thinks he's in love with her, so he grabs the case and talks his best friend, Jeff Daniels, into pursuing her to Aspen, where he knows that she's going. Comedy ensues. They get wrapped up in the hijinks. They accidentally kill a man, but I guess it's okay. Then the FBI shows up and solves everyone's problems, but no one ends up happy because they're kind of dumb oafs. But they are personally happy, so we're okay with it leaving the theater. Dumb and Dumber 2 picks up inexplicably 20 years later, where Jim Carrey has decided to remain stagnant, literally keeping the character and the situation in the same place. So when we pick up, we don't have to think too hard. Jeff Daniels is telling him that he needs a kidney or he'll die. We're laughing already. So then he goes to his parents to see if they'll give him a kidney. They're Asian and he's adopted. Both of these facts are played for laughs, and everyone's very uncomfortable during the scene. They reveal that since he's adopted his daughter, he has a daughter somewhere or something, and they have to go find her to try and get her kidney, or again, he'll die. Jim Carrey wants to have sex with her, even though she's 30 years younger than him, and it's played for laughs, and we're all very uncomfortable. The plot is far more complicated than that, because there's a murder plot with someone. Doesn't really matter. The FBI shows up at the end again to tidy up everything. It turns out she's not really either of their daughters or either of their kid, because they're stupid and they don't know what sex is, I guess, and it's played for laughs and everyone's really uncomfortable. And then the movie ends with everyone happy except for Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, but they are happy within themselves because the kidney thing was another fake out. So everyone's fine. They're just Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, all right. You had 7 seconds left.
What the fuck kind of note is that? I think I nailed it.
No. I mean, I'm not saying that part. Had you...
I'm not saying good job, Travis.
had you fully... had you done the full plot of Dumb and Dumber 2, I don't think you would have been able to finish in time.
That's why I didn't do it. That's what I want accolades for my reconciliatory skills.
Okay. So some info on Dumb and Dumber. Well, we've already talked about our own feelings on the movie, but there are some pretty cool things that I learned about it in my research that I didn't know. This blew my mind. John Hughes collaborated with the Farrelly brothers on what was an incomplete initial draft of Dumb and Dumber, eventually abandoned the script and sold it to the Farrelly brothers and had his name removed.
Smart.
Peter Farrelly on an Ask Me Anything is quoted as saying, "We originally came up with this idea with a very famous writer-director who was huge in the 80s and known for teen comedies. It's silly that I can't say his name, but the turnaround agreement we got from his company prohibited it.
Whoa.
I will say this movie would never have happened without him, and we are deeply appreciative."
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah,
Was
researching, and it
Hughes
wasn't until that.
ashamed?
The impression I get was that it was their initial concept, he helped them develop it, and then essentially just said, go with it. It's yours. But maybe yes, on some level he didn't believe in it. Either way, he could be partially responsible for the magic in that first one. The next writer they brought it to help them round it out was Bennett Yellen, who only has exclusively worked with the Farrellys, and his other big credit besides Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2 is Dumb and Dumber the animated series.
Okay.
What?
Which I have a funny story about later. His initial draft of the script was apparently so disjointed that it gained a negative reputation among film investors. After the script was rewritten, it was pitched to producers under the fake title, "A Power Tool is Not a Toy," in order to get them to even read it. It's interesting. This thing was passed on a lot, and they were laughed out of a lot of rooms. And according to the Farrellys, they said the main reason they got this to go through was Jim Carrey had his breakthrough film role in Ace Ventura, of course, that same year. Wow. He's the first actor to get 3 movies to go straight to #1 ever. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Ace Ventura had been directed by someone who had never directed a feature film before, Tom Shadyac. And after a positive meeting with the Farrellys, Carrey decided to give them the job in hopes of replicating that success with some new talent.
Feels like he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely stuck the landing on that, Mr. Carey.
Another crazy thing that I found out was that, according to the Farrelly brothers, Jeff Daniels was not wanted for this film. Jim Carrey wanted him from the beginning, but in order to ensure a no from him, he was initially offered $50,000 for the role, and he accepted it without hesitation. He never attempted to renegotiate, despite his agent telling him that he would kill his career with this movie. According to Jeff Daniels, none of the scenes between him and Jim Carrey together were filmed during the first week of production because the studio was fully prepared to replace him in the role. Even
crazy.
going so far as to have a comedian on standby waiting to take the
I
role.
wonder who that was.
And they were both so good, and as good and, comedy godlike as Jim Carrey is, I think it is hard to say that one is better than the other, personally.
It's weird that you
in the
don't
first movie.
see Daniels doing this kind of thing often.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original casting for Harry and Lloyd was Nicolas Cage and Gary Oldman.
That makes sense.
Very different movie.
That makes sense at the
Yeah.
time.
Sure, Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage, he's got the dumb guy. Also considered were Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Well, they were considered for everything back
But
then.
the
though.
Farrellys wanted them.
Mm.
But the New Line Cinema CEO Robert Shea wouldn't allow it as he felt they were no longer bankable actors by that time.
Give one to Bobby Shea.
Other actors considered for the role of Harry, Rob Lowe, Chris Elliott, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
All of these actors passed, by the way.
Wow. Jesus.
And for Lloyd, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Mike Myers, and Eddie Murphy.
Whoa.
They were
All
they couldn't
passed.
afford Eddie. Get
I
out of here.
I think it just is a testament to how many hands that this was passed around to. Now, I do have some fun facts, but I don't think we have time. We have a lot to get through.
Oh, they sounded so fun.
Well, I'll give you my favorite one.
Okay, great.
Fun
This
fact.
is my favorite one.
One fact.
Jeff Daniels says that he was at a golf course one day and Clint Eastwood approached him to tell him he had just seen the movie.
Okay.
Daniels braced himself for a negative reaction, but to his surprise, Eastwood wanted to tell Daniels that the bathroom scene had happened to him once when he was on a date.
Wow.
Which I just love that visual.
Yeah.
Of Clint Eastwood on a date,
Excuse me.
going into the bathroom,
Yeah.
and beating up some guy on the toilet.
All right. So, maybe we'll have time for some more fun facts later.
Boy, I hope so.
Thank you. Now, of course, we are here to talk about a specific sequel, but there are a couple of other existing sequels worth mentioning to this movie. Dumb and Dumber, the animated series. It was produced the year after the film came out, and it revolved around Lloyd and Harry driving around in their dog van,
Mm-hmm.
which was now in the cartoon sentient,
Oh, wow.
alive,
Interesting move.
and named Otto. They also have a new character that's always with them, a purple beaver that they mistake to be a cat, and so they call it Kitty.
That's amazing.
Really leaned into the animated. We got to make this crazy move.
Yeah, and I watched all of this in
Wow.
preparation for this podcast. It is very bad.
No.
My Bennett Yellen fun fact that I referred to earlier, we're already there. There's a joke in the unrated Dumb and Dumber version, which we discussed as being the same good movie. It just has the bad jokes left in.
Yeah.
One of those bad jokes is the waitress in the diner comes over and Lloyd says, "My soda doesn't have any bubbles," and she blows into the straw and says, "There you go," which is a really terrible joke.
Confusing.
Yeah.
It made it into the pilot episode of the animated series.
Got it.
Bennett Yellen loved that joke and just hated that it got cut and needed it to happen.
What channel was this animated series on?
This was on ABC.
Okay.
It was the final Hanna-Barbera produced show to premiere on ABC. After this, every single cartoon was Walt Disney Company, as it
Wow.
remains today. It was also the final Hanna-Barbera produced show to air on broadcast television
Ouch.
outside of Cartoon Network.
I never
Fuck.
caught that one.
Dumb
on
and
there.
Dumber?
I remember trying to find it because I watched The Mask and Ace Ventura a
Mhm.
lot, but
Mm.
I could never complete the hat trick.
Yeah, I agree. I remember it being hard to find as a kid.
Yeah.
I watched the other two, but that
Weird.
one not so much.
Just a season? What happened?
One season, canceled after the first season. Excellent voice work. Terrible writing, but excellent voice work. Matt Frewer as Lloyd and Bill Fagerbach, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, Patrick of SpongeBob,
Oh,
and
nice.
Dauber from Coach as Harry.
Cool. Okay.
Also, it's possible, because this came before Good Will Hunting, and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck cite no source material for Good Will Hunting.
Mhm.
Like, there is an episode of this show that ends with a genius janitor finishing an impossible equation. And I wonder if
What year was Good Will Hunting?
96. 96 or 97, I believe it's.
Wow,
90,
that's
yeah.
exactly the same time now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Tunes out,
more than likely a stretch, but
Yeah.
I like to think it's part of
I
the.
think you're
Matt
stirring
and
the
Ben
pot.
watched Dumb and Dumber the animated series and thought, "Hey,
That would have been great.
They
That
got
was-
it canceled. They buried it.
That
Oh,
was
Ben,
his
get in
one
here.
Contribution. His
Yeah.
one contribution.
And then, of course, the ill-fated prequel Dumb and Dumber When Harry Met Lloyd came out in 2003. Officially, after the release of Dumb and Dumber 2, it is not canon.
Why do you say that?
It is not canon because
Show your
in
work.
Dumb and Dumber Harry's mother is played by Mimi Rogers. In Dumb and Dumber 2, we find out that he was raised by Chinese parents or Asian parents. I guess I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So they're like ignoring. Was it a Fairly Brothers movie? No.
No.
Interesting.
The writers of Dumb and Dumber Robert Brenner and Troy Miller, 0 other writing credits. That is the only thing they ever wrote. Was Dumb and Dumber Troy Miller.
Well, when
also,
you do your job perfectly, you
Yeah.
only have to do it once.
Yeah. They retired.
Troy Miller, the director, did direct Jack Frost as well as Run Ronnie Run, and is a staple in television comedy directing. Arrested
Oh.
Development, Modern Family.
And he was one of the
Seeing his
writers.
name all over. He was
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
writers as well as the director.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Trey Miller and Matt Stone were originally attached to write it.
Wow.
For $1.5 million, they later decided not to work on the project and returned all the money.
That's a good move.
Wow.
Damn.
They're the
Yeah.
best also.
Yeah, it would have been a totally different movie.
Yes.
Although I have to say,
Potentially a funny movie.
now you,
Might have been. Might have been.
I rewatched that also in preparation for this, and I
Yeah.
think I like it more than the sequel, than
Dumb and Dumber 2.
the film we are here to talk about, Dumb and
2.
Dumber 2. So let's get into that. How do we feel about the movie, guys?
Didn't love it.
No.
No. I got a couple of genuine laughs out of it for sure. There's definitely some funny stuff in here. But
Mhm.
largely, I felt like most of the movie was spent asking the movie why it was doing what it was doing.
Right.
Yep. And it was never a funny answer. Remember, this serves the plot. Kept coming
There's
back
a lot
up.
of
Yeah,
plot in the movie,
a lot of plot.
which feels like a dumb thing to say because there wasn't a little amount of plot in the first movie. There was some different set pieces moving around the board.
Yeah, but they didn't spend so much time reiterating.
I'm trying not to compare it to Dumb and Dumber, but
Uh-huh.
just to compare it to comedy films. And it's tough, especially with such great talent. And I think it's also just like whatever the opposite of nostalgia is, because when you're seeing these things that you love, like in a sad way,
Destroyed.
it's like I'm thinking about the first one, but now in a completely different light, in a way that I don't want to think about it. It's just, because they do all these like dreaded sequel sins, right? Like they have all the same lines and reactions to stuff, and you can tell it's just kind of shoved in for nostalgia's sake, I guess.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really land. And
Well,
so,
but what's weird is that's kind of some of the only stuff that works. Like that works. The handful of original gags work, but the actual like mechanics of the movie don't work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can't take refuge there like you could with the first movie when you flash over to the mob people or whatever.
I think you said it when we were watching, Paul, that like just the serious scenes in Dumb and Dumber are good.
Yes.
They weren't looking for a laugh every 3 seconds.
Right.
And having characters that are like super exaggerated,
Mhm.
right?
Agreed.
A lot of the gags in the first movie were just those two actors being funny with material that wasn't that funny. They made it funny through their performance.
Sure. I mean, Dumb and Dumber, it definitely seems like lightning in a bottle for how many things had to work, including just in comparison, like I said before, the theatrical cut versus the unrated cut.
Right.
There's so many things that had to happen perfectly for it to end up the way it did. And but I think what that one got right that this one missed was every other character plays it straight.
Yeah.
They are the funny. They
Yes.
are the humor in the world.
Yes.
And this one was a mess.
Yeah,
of
like
a
you
bunch
have
of
Rob Riggle playing two characters that are both kind of ridiculous, but like again, it's unfair to compare to the first one.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece to me. But
Yeah.
that guy who they take with them, who like dies because of his pills, my pills,
Yeah.
like That guy's great. That
He's
guy's just playing
great.
like this greasy mob guy. Like he's awesome.
He's intimidating.
Yeah.
He's scary, but he's also funny. He's
Just playing who he is.
yeah, and it is a bummer that I feel like Rob Riggle maybe has the best bit in all of Dumb and Dumber 2.
Right, the
It's
camouflage you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that bit.
pretty solid, but
Good
it's
gag.
for it to not be Jim Carrey or Jeff Daniels is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
But like you guys are saying, they each had their funny parts. There were parts that made us all laugh.
yeah.
For sure. But in general, there were so many misses, and there was a lot of like uncomfortable misses
Mhm.
that made you
Oh.
like,
It was
oh,
written in 2014.
Which
like,
is
yeah.
And
Or
one
not.
thing I was concerned about in revisiting Dumb and Dumber was that it would not hold up to modern standards of like being in good taste, and it really does.
Yes.
Ultimately,
Absolutely.
versus this, which seems outdated from the first joke that's made is about ginger kids.
Yeah, you
and
don't
it
want a
really-
ginger
yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Like right up top.
Yeah.
And it's Harry saying it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so many dark, like we're dealing with such dark shit in this movie. There's fucking
Yeah.
like abortion and adoption and this people are dying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was really appropriate they spent the first half of the movie in a hearse. Whereas in
Yeah.
the other movie, they're in a fun, goofy cartoon dog.
Yeah, good
Right.
symbolism there.
Yeah, in no way is that a heightening of what they did the first time,
No.
which is even in bad sequels, that should be the goal.
Yeah, in a bad sequel or a decent sequel would have just been like a big fluffy goose.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like, at least that's like a silly animal that they'll be driving. You know?
I actually have in my pitch. I have a vehicle. Harry and Lloyd use their Wormmobile, a converted Disneyland tram, and a huge traffic hindrance.
I'm surprised you didn't go with converted Oscar Mayer hot dog.
That was my thought too.
Yeah, but I want it. The visual I want is them weaving through traffic,
like
just
it
being
is
a big
segmented?
problem for everybody when they
Okay.
change lanes and stuff like that. Also, all of this set to Apache Indians, Boom Shakalaka,
Of
the
course.
opening song to Dumb and Dumber.
Yes. Well, I don't have a prepared pitch.
Okay.
I'm free association brainstorming, but
I
I'm
like to
going
wing
big
it, too.
goose. Yeah, giant goose van.
That's Batman Returns you're thinking of.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right. What's a duck? What's a duck?
Okay, give it to me.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
a goose.
He's got the goose.
I got the goose tonight.
This time, by the way, I feel like it's a fairly well-known fact that Bill Murray plays the Harry's roommate, the meth.
Oh, I didn't.
What?
I didn't know that at all.
He's wearing the hazmat
What a
suit, so you
waste.
don't see his face. But this time, I did see his face. You can
Oh.
see it barely through
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Why the?
He doesn't even have a
I
funny line.
I actually forgot
Yeah.
about that whole terrible bit that's clearly a longer bit they cut out.
It's a Breaking Bad reference too.
Yeah.
like such a weird way to date it. Like
Mhm.
immediate, like
And then just to do like all for a weird gag where the cat gets high, I guess,
Yeah.
and grabs a fan and then
Well, yeah.
drops.
Crashes,
And
as
that's
the
it. Yeah.
subtitle said.
Chandelier or something? What was that?
well, and not a good bit, but also one of the better bits in this movie.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really yeah.
Oh man, and CGI stuff. Dude,
Yeah.
What are you doing putting CGI in Dumb and Dumber?
What are you doing putting
need it.
flashbacks in Dumb and Dumber?
Why are
That's
you
the
doing
weirdest.
flashbacks
Yeah.
now?
That's just got to be like comedy style changing. That's got to be a Family Guy influence, right?
Yeah, like they think
Yes,
that they
yeah.
Well, I mean, this script had 6 writers. The original 3, and then a writing team, Sean Anders and John Morris, who wrote
Mm.
Sex Drive,
One for
Hot
good
Tub
luck.
Time Machine, We're the Millers, Horrible Bosses 2.
I remember liking Sex Drive.
Yeah, I remember liking a few of those.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I just remember it being a real breakthrough for who's the handsome James Marsden in the
Oh,
comedy
yeah.
world
Yeah.
because he really
actually
owns
Enchanted
that
was the
movie.
big breakthrough in the
Mm.
comedy world for James Marsden.
Okay,
It's very
Oh,
Well,
I
he,
think
he
he's
could have a
funny.
couple. Yeah,
He's great,
no, he's
yeah.
great. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty, or at least let's approach it. And I
Nitty-gritty.
want to ask the big question to start: should this movie have a sequel? Dumb and Dumber.
No.
Should there be a Dumb and Dumber?
I think no. I don't think we need a sequel. First of all, comedy sequels are always going to be tricky because the temptation to just do it again is too high.
Mm.
Second of all, like we talked about earlier, doing it 20 years later isn't going to do much than showcase how much comedy gets dated quickly.
Okay.
And I don't know, I guess third of all, they made like 3 sequels you just pointed out and they're all bad.
Well, I never wanted a prequel.
Yeah.
I never would.
Mhm.
I never will. If it's not Jim and Jeff, I don't understand the point. Like why? Even though those guys are both great,
They're great.
They do a great job
They
as
do.
those characters. But
I think the only way to capture the magic is to do a sequel soon. They would have had to do it in 97 or 98 or something. And then with this one, I feel like maybe the second one wouldn't have been as good, but they still would have captured enough magic to where it's a good film and very funny.
I think 98 would have been a really good year for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is if you do it 15, 20 years later, it's just weird. Like not only do those jokes not work, but like a bunch of other stuff in the world doesn't work, you know? And now, I don't know, you wait 20 years, it's like you lose that magic.
But your ultimate response to, you think that a decent Dumb and Dumber sequel would have been possible?
Yes.
At some
if
point.
only they did it a few years after. I think after that time's up, it's like, this is going to be bad. There's almost nothing you can do about it.
As great as Jim and Jeff are in, performance-wise, I don't fault them for 2.
Sure. Yeah.
But they are having some trouble slipping back into those characters seamlessly. It is not.
That's because I don't think you can slip back into a character 20 years later. You need to slip into what that character would be 20 years later, and when they don't do that, it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, they're also just not even, they're not true to who those characters are in this script at all.
I was going to say, I think I would just put blame on, and I don't mean to whoever's listening to this.
Yeah.
You're much better at what you do than I am, but the script to me is more the problem. I feel like they're the same level of like great actors.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like weird to see them so much older trying to look the same. I think that is already disturbing.
Same clothes, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Really weird.
And like, I don't know. I think all that stuff is strange. So,
what do you think?
I don't think there should be a sequel. I agree.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just the judge.
I am curious.
I'm just a judge.
We'll get to our defined roles in a moment, and there's going to be some shake 'em ups.
Oh,
that's what's there's going to be some
tease.
surprises around the corner. Oh yeah, but having rated Dumb and Dumber as a 5 or 6 on the comedy scale, where are you putting Dumb and Dumber 2?
2.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's
up
really
from
more
1?
than fair. Yeah, that's
makes a lot of
that's
sense.
nice.
A handful of
Yeah.
laughs.
Perhaps the snot bubble. I don't know.
That
Something about it was. I think it was just
That got you?
It was so outrageous.
Wow.
Maybe I was just done with the
snot
movie,
bubble.
but just it came out of nowhere and it surprised me and it made me chuckle.
Okay.
I would say I'm a bigger fan of the frozen snot in 1.
Sure.
than the
That's
snot bubble.
Definitely
that's great.
grosser.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question about this Dumb and Dumber 2? Why was the what's her name? Freda
Felcher.
The,
yes.
the daughter.
Yes, or Fanny Felcher is the daughter. Yes.
Why is Fanny such an imbecile in this movie?
Yeah, they don't. It's not explained. Well,
I guess
Key
for the
Stain,
same-
it sounds like
Red
was
herring?
done.
Or-
Just
I think it was to deter to make us like believe that she was
their kid.
his daughter.
Right.
They gave her the
because-
bangs. No.
Yeah, and like,
I just would have loved if she was like
she'd be dumb too.
half as
because
dumb.
he's dumb. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that would have been as funny,
Like
but it was
Aaron from The
bothering me.
Office.
Yeah.
Like an Aaron.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
that would be perfect.
More naive.
Yeah.
Than,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because I feel like in the first Dumb and Dumber, they're dumb, obviously, but it's almost played more naive and boyish
Yes.
rather than
Yes.
like
Yeah.
gross or
Immature for
like
sure, but yeah.
lobotomized or whatever.
They're also
Yeah.
outwardly rude in this movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
very,
roasting
very
people.
mean to everybody.
Yeah.
Freda Felcher and everybody. Yeah, it's
That
really
woman, when they first meet the woman, they're like, what do they say? Your bowel jowls?
jowls,
Jowls.
something
Yeah.
about
Bubbly
those.
jowls.
Yeah, we would fight over those jowls. Or
So weird.
It's
I
rough.
They
don't
weren't
know.
mean in the first one.
I don't
No.
remember them being mean.
They didn't have prejudice. I would say the most problematic thing in the first one is that they're obsessive over Mary
Yeah.
to like a stalker extent, but it's because everything can be related to they don't know any better. They
Yeah,
don't
I
get
was
it.
going to say that
Yeah.
is more naivete. That's
Yeah.
just them being like, schoolboys, like, I can't, she's the love.
Yeah.
She's my love.
Yeah.
In this one, they were like,
All right.
I'm just sorry. I'm just going through again.
No, this is
It's disappointing.
it's an upsetting thing, and that is
Yeah.
exactly why I think I think of this episode as this is gonna be a hot ep.
Hot.
As I said, this is a hot ep because
shit.
I think that this is an important task
Yeah.
that we have before us to try to do better
Mhm.
because it shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
So with that in
That
mind,
was such a segue.
we're gonna
What a
move
pro.
in. Well, I'm getting better. This is
That's
episode 3, baby.
Got a GD
That's not
blazer.
even written down. You just had it.
I know. These are bullet points. Don't worry about what I wrote down.
I saw it earlier. You wrote down the words, Travis, how are you?
Yes,
So
because
they're pretty
I
specific.
liked the
notes.
sound of that, but no, okay, we can.
Moving on.
Yeah, thank you though. Normally, I would say that the setup is that the guest by default starts as our judge. However, should the guest wish to pitch him or herself,
Wow.
he can drop the judge responsibilities. And
I think I'd
submit
rather
your own.
go judge because I don't have a concept right now. So
Okay.
maybe by hearing some, I'll
It'll
be able
spark
to,
something.
Yeah, I'll fluctuate them.
Now, should that happen,
Yeah.
should you pitch, then it goes to a voting system,
Oh,
at which point Lauren would act as a tiebreaker. However, should Lauren wish to pitch,
3 however
and
speed.
she is welcome, then we'll just kind of have to trust democracy. So,
that's not going well.
Okay.
Well, let's try it
It
again, just
starts
one more
here.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more.
Just
change.
start the trend.
And I will write down, and that is why notes are important. I will write down a better way to say that next time.
Okay.
And you'll appreciate that.
I think notes are very important.
So anyone want to go first?
Why don't you go first, Paul?
No,
We
I
all
don't
know
want
you
to go
have-
first.
You're the only one who has anything written down. You
Yeah.
usually have your pitches beat for beat.
That's true. You're prepped up.
Well, this is important to me. This is
Okay.
important
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Obviously,
And-
you've done a lot of research, by the way, to watch the animated series and these two. I'm just saying,
That's
Yeah.
above and
it's a
beyond.
lot of hours, and you're watching the regular speed. I can tell.
Well, it's true. I haven't acclimated to 1.5 or 2
I'm gonna get you on
times.
that 2 times speed bump.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. But this was once again, this is, and I maybe even played it down a little before. This is for me the funniest movie
Right.
that there is.
Your pitch better be solid fucking gold. Then.
Well, it's
Pesos.
I'm confident
Hot
enough that I think I have something.
I'll just go then. I'll wing it.
And
Love it.
give us a title if you can. I do
Okay.
love a title.
Ooh.
Why don't you eat up and we'll tell you?
Well, I'm not trying to impress anyone here. I would just do Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest.
So there's a third.
What I would like to do is to get some fresh blood writing these characters, because I feel like we've got the same guys 20 years later trying to write these characters, and that's not working. So you want to get like the Broad City Women or something, someone working in comedy now
I love that.
to write these characters, as well as we can introduce, I guess, our dumbest, which will be, a woman, because we got 2 guys. So for the next movie, I wouldn't go back to any of like the original characters or even that original apartment. Like, I'm bummed out seeing that still there. And last week we saw them, they were just walking from Aspen. They got nowhere to go. I would just put them in like a metropolitan area, like Crocodile Dundee. Just put them in New York or Chicago or put them in LA.
Well, Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, and get them around like a contemporary, diverse. Maybe they've just been going from town to town on misadventures for 20 years, and now they've landed in, I don't know, Venice Beach or whatever, and they happen upon a stupid person, so they latch onto that person's plan, and now they're almost like the Straits.
I mean, I think the vibe they put out always, and this is definitely in support of your pitch, is that they would hang out with anybody.
Yeah.
They're down to be
But
friends.
no one will hang out with them. is the
Right,
problem.
exactly.
So now they have
you got-
found...
yeah.
But then Harry and Lloyd, they take on almost a paternal role, because they're dumb, but they know enough to get like a limousine job and an apartment. Like, they can function in the world. They're not going to
Right.
drink embalming fluid.
Yeah.
So they are almost taking care of this new dumber person and kind of showing them the ropes. Like, this new
I do
person's
like
a lot
that.
wackier
Yeah.
and taking them to places they would never go. But then they're like, oh, hold on, kid. This is how you get a free meal. And they do some like old dumb hobo Hanna-Barbera gag thing.
Okay.
I know I'm not saying any plot stuff. I haven't
Yeah.
given any direction to this at all. It's just
Yeah.
like a vibe. I want to do something kind of like a Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he's off in search. They're off in search of something that does not exist and smart people know don't exist. Kind of like a Road to El
like
Dorado.
the Fountain of Youth. or something like that.
Something like that. Something like a, what is it called? Snipe hunt? They go looking for Bigfoot or whatever. Whatever they're looking for, this with this third person, like, oh, we'll get you home, kid, or we'll find your missing bowling ball or whatever doesn't exist. And then you get, they travel the country. I don't have anything, guys.
I mean, and I think that that's the thing, is what does seem so easy about following this up is the plot in the first one is essentially nothing as well. It's very close to nothing.
Sure.
The thing is, no one remembers when they think back on Dumb and Dumber, no one thinks about the plot. You only remember those two guys doing their goofy shit. So it doesn't matter too much
Unless
what
you've
the
seen
plot
it
is.
as many times. As,
Right. I was gonna say I had to modify my language halfway through because of who I'm looking at.
Big fans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a pitch.
Excellent.
Can I jump
All
in?
right.
Please do.
Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Please and thank you.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking.
I know what I'm gonna do.
It's 1998.
Okay.
About okay, that's where my sequel would take place. I think that's the hot spot, and I think we need for them to meet two women. So now they are coupled up. So we have these two schmucks, and then
Ooh.
whoever these two women schmucks are that love them and
Can
want
I-
to. Oh, please.
Can I pitch the women?
Hey, go ahead.
Lisa Kudrow
Oh, love it.
and
Love it.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Ideal casting. Paul gets.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
I
that's
thought-
perfect.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we
That is
have
really
these
perfect.
4 schmucks, and what are they doing together? Honeymoon. They all just got married. They're honeymooning together.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
feel
They
so
go
good
to
about this.
Jamaica. They go to
Yeah.
Vegas, and it's I think the title would be very simply just Dumb and Dumber in Vegas, or like Dumb and Dumber Bermuda, or I don't know. That's
Go Hawaiian.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Go
uh-huh.
Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that hijinks ensue. They get to the resort. They maybe piss off their loved ones, and now they have to like make it up to them and to win them back.
Mhm.
Maybe they get
Oh, yeah.
separated.
Oh, sure. They're always
that's
fighting
good.
with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they get separated on like a boat somehow, or like the girls decide to take a boat because they're pissed off at them, and now it's like we have to find them and impress them once we get there.
Yeah. That. Oh man. I
Ooh.
should have gone first. This is yikes. I like that so much.
Yeah, me too.
And also, like, what you did with the non-specifics, you
Mhm.
can do with Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue, blah blah blah. The point of what works about the first one is that the story is happening independently of them.
Right.
Like the
Mhm.
main danger-based
Part.
plot.
Yes.
They are unaware of it. In
Yep.
fact.
Yep.
Yes. So
And they're always looked at as smart. I
Yes.
think is a funny ongoing. Not that you have to do
mistaken
again,
for smart.
right?
Yeah.
Mistaken for like, oh, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like somebody would lend them a boat or something because it's like, oh, this guy, are you kidding? He saved this fish from whatever, and it's like
Mhm.
they accidentally stepped on a net or whatever the fuck.
That might
Right,
actually be
right.
something that would work in a contemporary setting where like wealthy like startup people or people who have apps look like schlubby schmucks.
Yeah,
So it's-
that's a very good point.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
the more we see on social media and in docs and stuff of how rich people actually behave, you would
Yeah.
totally buy the two of them.
Yes.
If they were just standing next to the right person, you'd go like, well, they can
Yeah.
do whatever.
Well, that was the great scene with the owls in the first one. Where
Yes.
they have these ridiculous suits, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, I love your
Your sense of
outfits."
humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're so funny.
Yeah. That's great. And also, you said 1998. I think that works 2014 today. I think that
Right. Yeah.
it wouldn't, be the sweetest sweet spot, but I think that with that same cast, that same setup, I think that works today too.
I think that would destroy now.
Yeah.
Even after Dumb and Dumber 2, if they were just like,
If
look,
they-
we
well,
got
if they
it.
did- if they
Dumb
pulled a
and Dumber 2
Halloween-
destroyed. The
That's
thing
true.
made a bunch of money, so of course it would.
Well, Dumb and Dumber 2 has already erased Dumb and Dumber and Halloween has erased Halloween. So let's just
keep moving.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Sure.
Let's take another swing. Let's
Yeah.
admit what we did wrong
Yes.
and learn. All right,
Lauren, do you want
Lauren,
to
do
pitch
you have a
or-
pitch?
I have no pitch.
You have no pitch.
No pitch.
Okay.
All right, Paul, do you want to
Well-
give your trash ass pitch or
Yeah.
just
Oh.
give it to Ethan? Or
It's just I
Mhm.
think I have some things right, but having heard that, it's like I should have just doubled the cast. Two men, two women. That's the move.
That's the move.
That's the move.
It's got to be
I brought the women in at the end, and that
the
was
end,
selfish.
the end.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
where you need 'em?
you'll see where I
Everywhere.
was going. Oh man, I'm starting right off on such an unevolved thing
I love
here
it.
because my
love it.
title, the first two I considered were Dumb and Dumber #2, in reference to the bathroom humor.
okay.
Sure.
Maybe
Maybe go number 2.
Like like
yeah.
Herbie goes
I
bananas.
also thought about just making it #2,
Okay.
which would be a little abstract.
Yeah, you got to have
People
Dumb
would
and
have
Dumber in
to
there.
see
Yeah.
the poster to get it.
The marketing boys.
Yeah. But what I landed on as my title that I am going in with is Dumb and Dumber Part Do. Do spelled DOO.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dumb and Dumber 2, but the D at the beginning of Dumber is X'd out and it's an N instead for number 2.
Dumb and Number 2.
Oh, Oh, okay, interesting.
Why do you want the audience to
Oh.
work so hard?
I mean, titles have done worse things.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too
Yeah.
Furious. I mean,
Okay, fair,
it's-
that's fair.
They just like not, I have a tagline also: Spy games, no quitsies, no erases.
What
Ooh.
a deep track, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think once
It's
you
intriguing. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, oh, are they spies now? What's going on?
I like
Mhm,
it. I just
mhm.
feel like most people are going to like it after you explain it to them.
Please, let me finish.
My log line is this: after one little mass animal attack related mistake lands Harry and Lloyd in minimum security prison, the two cross paths with an incarcerated scientist hell bent on protecting his life's work.
Jesus Christ.
A performance-enhancing nanobot weapon, which Harry inadvertently swallows after mistaking it for a jawbreaker. Now the daft duo unknowingly finds themselves the ultimate asset in a fierce race between rival spy agencies trying to secure the weapon and save or destroy the world.
Wow.
That's the log.
That's
Wow.
You went in a very 1980s direction.
That's pretty
I-
great though.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
sounds super fun.
I can almost see the like busy painted poster.
Well,
with
it
them,
is
like,
a
running away from.
Yeah.
the
Whatever.
the main set. It's a heighten of what we've already seen in
Right.
one.
Yes.
There's a kidnapping
It's the second beat
scenario.
of Dumb and Dumber.
Then what I'm saying is the epilogue. Way too late in the game here. The boys meet a pair of girls that are clear soulmates at a local bar or something, but before they can even consider pursuing them, all four of them start competing with each other childishly.
That's cute.
Making it like a happy ending, but they
Right.
don't get it still.
Right.
That's the way they court.
Yes,
They
exactly.
They themselves don't realize it.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Fun.
I don't like that you went genre.
Interesting. You don't like that I jumped to spy?
No,
Genre.
not that kind of spy. Not like the super fighty spy. I thought you were going to go more, like I said, 1980s.
Yeah,
kind of
perhaps
like,
the nanotech is
like
not
Man Who Knew Too Little
necessary.
kind of thing.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
it could easily get away from their story and become about like the spy story.
Yeah.
I like that the spy element's there,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah.
it just like on a lower, smaller,
Mhm.
Bill
Yeah.
Murray doesn't realize he's in danger kind of thing.
Well, that's what I had, but
Solid.
yeah, I appreciate
Fun
that.
stuff.
Should we go
Yeah.
through the pageantry of voting or
Um,
just
well, okay, I might still have a chance
Okay.
because the voting system is that we go through the titles and raise our hands if we like it,
okay,
and then we count the score
gotcha.
at the end. Who gets the most hand
I
raises?
see. Seems like the cruelest way to do it, but okay,
So we'll start with Dumb, Dumber, Dumbest.
that's mine.
Yes, Travis's.
Okay, if you liked it.
Let's
so
just
that's two votes
vote on the
for-
best.
2 votes for me. Dumb, Dumber, Dumbest.
Yes. Next up was Dumb and Dumber Goes Hawaiian.
Which goes Hawaiian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like,
Okay,
I
four.
liked
Everyone-
mine. Obviously, I'm
That was
biased.
across the board.
But yeah, I liked mine.
It was great. Yeah, we all did. And
Paul,
then
you had.
Dumb and Dumber Part 2.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm,
Okay.
You got
Yeah.
I'm only gonna not vote. I
So that
liked
you
it, but I
can-
had to
yeah.
modify it. No,
Oh,
no,
Ethan,
I'm not working.
No,
the
Ethan
vote.
also didn't raise his hand.
Yeah,
so that's,
and I'm trying to just stick with my guns here
Yeah.
because I want to be honest. you
Yeah.
know? And
No,
I
it's
feel
fair.
like
This
There
is
was a-
exactly
there
what
was-
I wanted from the voting system.
There was a
You're
lot
right,
to like
yeah.
in your pitch, though.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
know that.
I
Yeah.
like parts of everybody's pitch. So
yeah, same.
That's why I voted 3 times.
But obviously, the clear winner is
Is Dumb and Dumber Goes Hawaiian.
That was genius, bud. Sheer genius.
Just a fun-filled adventure with 4 great actors.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that is what makes the first one soar.
and then the
I mean,
fun
it's
of
two,
the
but
fun
yeah.
of it. Okay, so where would it take place? Because I feel like the dumb guys would pick a kind of lackluster. They would go to
Right.
like Gatorland, Florida.
Right.
But are the ladies smart enough that they like took them somewhere fun,
I
or are
think
they
they're
like
a little bit smarter?
I would say
yeah.
it makes sense for them
Like
to be a little bit
Cancun
smarter.
or something like
Yeah.
Daytona Beach,
okay?
You
So
know
not
what I
all
mean?
the way fun, but like
and something that's cheap because I feel like that's one of the main things. They can't make a lot of money. Nobody can make a lot of money, so they got a vacation on like.
I also
Although-
want the women as poorly dressed
Oh,
as
sure.
the men.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
need to look a mess, but in a specific way that clearly they think it's styled.
it could be
Right.
fun
You know?
to, since we did Poor the first movie. If this movie, if their ladies are
Rich.
affluent,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
but like Charlize Theron in Arrested Development.
Right, they're like heirs.
Right, so
to
people
a fortune or
people
something.
don't
Yeah.
treat them with the disrespect Harry and Lloyd get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they're
fun.
part of something.
Well, and it was so much fun in the first one seeing them have a ton of money and what they would do with it.
I want to do a Halloween pitch, like Ernest Scared Stupid, but with Dumb and Dumber. Like a Dumb and Dumber Halloween.
That's interesting.
And then I thought, based on a little bit of your pitch, I was thinking like there would be a love triangle, but it would be with Dumbest. It would be just a third friend who was like cool. Both of them thought that he was cool. So it was kind of threatening each other's friendship before they realized at the end of the movie, oh, we can just all be friends together.
Sure, they all want to be the
just to kind of
favorite on
like
both
get away,
sides.
just to remove a romantic component, because both of the movies are about them pursuing a woman who doesn't want it.
I mean, any relationship they navigate is going to be dealt with in an immature way.
Exactly.
Oh, also, your point about them pursuing a woman who doesn't want it, way worse in 2.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because in 1, I felt like it's treated gently and delicately enough, and there's distance enough between them. Also, Mary makes some crazy decisions herself in like sort of dating both of them without mentioning a husband like at any point. It's that from my rewatch today was something I noticed just being like, I
just
feel like
agreeing
she
to hang out with Harry for
for 2 days.
Yeah.
But also the fact that they are contemporaries goes a long way with making it just two weird people rather than this person is literally daughter age to you.
Right, absolutely.
And who is uncomfortably naive and ignorant as well, so she's not aware.
Right, absolutely.
The
They could, as dumb as they are, they could take advantage of her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge mistake.
Yeah, really, really
Did
bad.
not like
bad,
that.
bad
at
choices.
least like Harry was like, hey, that's weird, man.
Yeah, Harry
At
was
least,
honorable.
They at least
yeah.
acknowledged it.
Well, yeah, I guess it's about a good time as any to start wrapping it up. Anything anyone wants to plug?
I think guest goes first.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, like you said, I have those 2 podcasts, of course. Bad Science. We sit down with I sit down with a scientist and a comedian, and we discuss the inaccuracies of films. That comes out every Tuesday, and then every Wednesday, Success Express comes out, which is a fake financial advice podcast, which is all improvised and very funny. We have great guests, and that's it, man.
Excellent.
And
excellent.
thanks for having me on.
Oh, hey, thanks for coming. This was great. You gave me a Dumb and Dumber sequel I want.
Hey, anytime. Happy
Which is
birthday.
a
Dream
gift
come true.
and a curse.
Right, yeah.
We won't get to see that.
I might as well have.
You can see it in your dreams.
In terms of what we've gone through up to now, I'll take it.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Travis, Lauren, anything for you?
Lauren, do you have anything you want to plug? No, okay.
Nope.
You can find my other podcasts. Theater of Tomorrow is our anthology science fiction stories, and The Hotel is our weekly short micro horror stories. You can find both of those wherever podcasts are sold.
Excellent.
And please do.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's it for us today. Thank you so much, Downers. Yeah. Well, you gave us that last time.
I think we can.
Now that I say it out loud, I'm not in love with it.
Shoney's is already a thing.
Shoney's.
That is absolutely a
Oh,
problem.
Showdown. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showders.
All right. We'll try that out
Try
again
Showder.
next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 On the next follow-up Showdown. Our film today, 2015's The Man from U.N.C.L.E., with our very on-theme guest, David Seltzer.
Well, my initial idea was basically they go to Casablanca. Picture Army Hammer playing piano. Play it again, Army.